Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Coach to Coach conversation about the coaching experience. I'm Sophie. I'm a feel good coach and the founder of the Self Coaching Institution. I'm so honored to be the host of this podcast and share the voice of great coaches, helping this wonderful, rewarding community to serve people in need. Today, my guest is John, who is a coach as well. Welcome, John.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you so much for accepting my invitation
That's a
and being
pleasure.
my guest today.
It's lovely.
Thank you so much. If you could tell us a little bit more, why coaching and
Why coaching?
yes, and what's the reason behind it?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, I actually trained as an engineer, a mechanical engineer, and then I moved to London with my guitar to become famous. As you can see, it didn't work. No, then I moved on to do a degree in product design. Around about the same time, I kind of met my wife, and I came to Madrid, and I needed to do something that I could earn money because my Spanish was kind of non-existent. So I got into teaching, started teaching English, and I've been teaching English for about 22 years now. And I eventually I decided to go self-employed. Here it's called autonomo, so we're in Spain. And I started noticing people calling themselves language coaches. And I thought, wow, what's a language coach? If I'm going to be competing with these people, then I need to know what a language coach is. I didn't even know what a coach was. So I looked into it, and I found an online course with a reputable university, and started kind of investigating it. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting. But it's kind of like it was the complete opposite to what teaching is, because teaching, you give people the answers, and coaching is more kind of the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So I kind of got into that. I did the course, and then I tried to find as much work as I could as a coach. But in Spain, it's not that well known. So I ended up kind of working with friends. Like one of my friends was trying to give up smoking, and another one was trying to do like a rock opera and things like this. And I did it for free, because they were friends.
Yes.
And I was always trying to, I don't know, there was this kind of like this mismatch between being a coach and a teacher. So I was trying to, my main body of work was teaching English in companies, business English. And then I was trying to sell myself as a coach. And it was just kind of like, when are you a coach and when are you a teacher? And I think, but what I decided to do was to specialize. So what I do is I use my coaching to support my teaching. At the beginning of the course, you'll have people that will say things like, I want to improve my speaking skills. I say, okay, well, what does that mean, really? What does that mean? It's like saying, I want to fly to Europe. Where are you going to land the aeroplane? So I use my coaching to help them define their goals at the beginning, because if you can't see your goal, then you're not going to be able to reach it. So what I do is I help them define their goals so that, if you can't see your goal, then you're not going to know how to get there. So the second part is like getting a plan together, a plan of action, which is usually kind of like a self-study plan, because these people, they have like 1 hour a week sometimes, and they have no other opportunity or contact with English sometimes in their jobs. So along the way, I kind of work with them to help them boost their motivation. Sometimes they really lack in self-esteem. If you can imagine, you've got to go to a meeting and it's in English, and they say things like, nobody understands me,
Yeah, definitely.
So and I started getting some workshops together as well, based on a kind of a book. I'm still writing a book.
Oh, very interesting.
Yes,
Please
it's hard work.
tell me more once it's ready.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get a name for it at the moment, because as I do more research into these things, I start to see how really interconnected they all are.
Yeah.
I'm reading an interesting book at the moment by Emily Balthetis, which is basically, yeah, visualizing your goal. If something's desirable, it can seem closer to you. For example, like for somebody that's on a, if you show somebody who's on a diet some apples, they look bigger than they do to somebody who's not. And it all seems to be really linked. Like I say, if you can't actually visualize your goal, literally visualize it, it's really difficult to get to. So yeah, I started to notice that all of these things are really kind of entwined, dependent on each other. And I feel that there seems to be like 7 points
Yes,
that
I
I
was
think.
about to ask. I was
Yeah,
the, about to ask about the 7 pillars, because this is what you highlighted previously before the podcast as well, and I'm
yeah.
so interested in.
Well, yeah, like I said, I started seeing people come into class that were, some of them had these jobs that were, I don't know, like one of his person I was speaking to was working on the fission reactor. You know, they're like
Mm-hmm.
physicists and architects and
Yeah.
scientists, and they don't have a pen. You know, they don't. I say, what did we do last week? Well, I can't remember. I don't take notes. It's all in my head, kind of thing. So I started seeing these things that I thought once these 7 pillars are actually in place, then real learning can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's true whether you're having a face-to-face class, whether you're doing an online class, if you're using an AI robot or a
Yeah.
learning platform, you need these 7 things in place. Or else learning is it's not going to happen. It's going to be very slow.
So you built your teaching style around these 7 pillars, and you follow, and you ask your coaches or your student to follow these 7 pillars as well.
Sometimes
Is
it's difficult to get them to do it.
okay. How do you motivate them? Do you motivate them?
Well, I have to keep getting them to getting them to remind themselves why they're doing English in the first place. There's certain things I'm working on for the motivation part. Because as I said, the more I'm reading into it, the more ideas I'm kind of getting. But there's some things that you establish at the beginning of the course, your objectives. So that's your main goal. You do a needs analysis to ask them, why you're learning English, what's your history, this kind of stuff, and what kind of things do you find most difficult. And then, like I say, they'll come up with some kind of goal, like I want to improve my writing or I'll work on presentations or whatever. And so I help them define exactly what do they mean by that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it comes up, there's a lot of things, but you say, okay, what's priority? And then you kind of
Yes.
focus on that. And that might have to be broken down into steps as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the plan of action. I normally start off by asking them, how long have you been learning English? And they say, oh, all my life. Yeah, and I say, okay, how happy are you with your progress? Kind of thing on a 1 to 10 scale. And there's, well, 3 or something like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And okay, so what do you actually do outside of class to practice your
Improve.
English? How do you maintain it? And it comes out that they don't do anything most of the time. Try to watch a series in Netflix. They probably like a few emails at work. Some of them have to attend meetings. Some of them do use it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So then, using the grow model. So then
Your
you would get them to generate as many ideas as they can, and then they choose them and get them to commit. When you're
yeah.
actually going to do this. And you have organization. If you can't find your notes, you can't find a new word, and somebody phones you up and they want to buy wheelbarrows, you can't remember what the word is.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
find it in the margin of a photocopy that's in the bottom of your bag somewhere. You're going to lose a client.
Yeah. So you just mentioned that you ask them what their goal is, how they feel at the moment about their level of English. But you also mentioned that you work in a group or with groups.
Yeah.
So how do you synchronize or harmonize different people, because they have different goals? The level of English are different. So how do you cope with it?
Usually the students have done a level test before they're put into a group. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a Cambridge exam. It's called a placement test where they just kind of put into groups. In the old days, well, we're talking pre-COVID. That's the old
Yes.
days, you might have a client who has maybe 3 students and at different levels. and they
Mm-hmm.
don't have a budget for 3 different groups. So they
Mm-hmm.
put them in the same group together sometimes, or they just don't open a group. But now with like online, sometimes I have a group where somebody's in Dubai.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's on site, on a construction site. Somebody's in the office that does the accounts. So it's easier
Yes.
for the client as well, So they all kind of, you normally get a group that's more or less kind of same, although the
Same. Yeah.
objectives are,
Yeah.
yeah. So you can try to find some common ground.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they're all there because they want us to improve their English in some way. But then you get them to negotiate get them to write down what they actually want to focus on, and then they can negotiate and sort of say, okay, well, so then it's down to them. They've decided what the group
Good.
objectives are. It might just be for that term, and they're not set in stone, because
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
they might get promoted or change their role in the company with them. It means their objectives change. It's not like the actual when you coach, if you've still got your client after
Yeah.
a long period of time, you're not doing your job. But if it's combined with teaching, then you'll have that group for. I work with an academy, and they give me groups for
Mm-hmm.
the year.
Yes.
It would finish in around June, so you're kind of working with me. Things will arise. Like
Mm-hmm.
somebody, you can
Yeah.
see they're nervous or something. Okay, then you might do a session on, why are you kind of, what's the thing behind that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
Many of them are really stressed anyway. They come directly from
Yeah.
a meeting into the class and they're
Yeah.
not there, and so sometimes it's a little difficult to get them to focus. But,
So you work on this
yes, I do. Yeah.
purely.
I have worked with teenagers, but
It's not your niche.
it's
Yeah.
not my niche. No, it took me a while to discover that.
Yeah. It's so interesting because as you can hear, I'm not native English,
Mm.
and I struggled with the same issue, that lack of confidence.
Mm.
I do mistakes, but I just let it go.
Yeah.
And once I did that, I just exactly said the same what you mentioned. Whomever wants to understand me, he or she will.
They'll
It
make the
doesn't.
effort. Yeah.
Yeah, because they make the effort, I make the effort, and
Mm.
we both appreciate each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
effort. And that's why actually I started to accept speaking opportunities. That's
Mm.
why I wanted to do this podcast, because voice is very, very important.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's very difficult to cut through the noise.
Exactly. I mean, that's one of the things behind self-esteem.
Yes,
You have to make them realize that, okay, well, you're never going to be native English speaker. You speak English with a Spanish accent.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And we're all in the same boat. I often tell them stories about, because I learned in the street, more or less. I had a few lessons, but not very many, which is probably why it's slow. But, I've had incidents. For example, I remember when I first came here, I asked for a coffee in a bar, coffee and a croissant planchado, which is iron,
Oh, okay.
instead
Yeah.
of a la plancha, which is grilled. Yeah.
Oh,
And the
okay.
lady next to me, she nearly choked on her coffee. If you don't speak, you won't be able to survive.
It's the willpower, I would say, and if the willpower there, sooner or later you will achieve what you want. If the goal is clear,
Uh-huh.
you imagine yourself, already visualize yourself in that goal. The only way is just to figure it out how you reach that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And you
applies
can,
to everything in life, really, doesn't
yeah,
it? You can go into the
yeah,
shop,
yeah,
have I got enough money? What do I need
yes,
to buy?
yeah,
Am I going to
uh,
get back in
yeah.
time to see the football?
Yes, I love people when, for example, I did a little online class for teenagers about my career, and I asked them, who you want to be? And most of them said rich. This
Yeah,
is,
define it.
yes, define it, rich. That's it. After that, I asked them, okay, but what do you do for that?
Yeah.
And they started to tell other stories and their motivations, what they do. Every of us have a challenging moment, or rewarding moment. I let you decide which one would you like to share with us.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure he'll probably be listening to this. So I say, Dad, but working with my oldest, my children, when they were younger, I did try to coach them,
Mhm.
and they'd say to me, Dad, you're coaching me. Stop, don't do it, I'm not going to do it. All right. But now they're a bit older, and my oldest son, he's got some really good ideas, and
Mhm.
I said, okay, well, let's meet up and, bring a pad along with you and we'll kind of thrash it out, and I managed to do a session with him, and set some kind of action steps and things. And oh yeah, I said, there you see, that's how it works. Oh yeah, all right, yeah. So it was nice to be told not to stop coaching me and go away. I think.
Yeah, I don't have kids, but yes, it's just the most rewarding, I would say, when you see your kid thriving and
It'd be
achieving.
rewarding when he buys me a house and a car.
Yes, yes. Let's see. Maybe after a couple of years, I will invite you back, and
Oh
you
yeah.
tell that story.
Well, I
Well,
bought a lottery ticket, so I've got to check my lottery ticket
yeah.
this morning. So
Wow.
maybe I won't be coaching anymore. I don't know.
Well, I was about to ask this question as well. What you like to do? What motivates you every day when you are not a teacher or coach?
That'll be the weekends then. But I mean, I
Oh,
think you're always a coach, though, aren't you? You know what I
yeah.
mean? Once it's in you, then you'll see it, other opportunities and things. But like I said, when I moved to London, to be
Mhm.
famous with my
Yes.
guitar when I was about 20. So I still play the guitar. I've got a band.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
we're rehearsing at the moment for our next concert. And I like making guitars as well. Yeah,
Maybe you can take a picture of it. What is the material? Which wood do you use?
it's actually made out of a cigar box. I think the rest of it is made of spruce wood. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's spruce, but it has to be like a hard wood. But
Okay, yeah.
it's nice to see like every single one has its own character, because of
Yes.
the shape of the box and you know and the quality of the wood um and it's nice to see it take shape. And it's all done by hand. There's no electric tools or anything like that. No power tools. So
How interesting, yeah. As you talk and I listen, since the beginning, I had the feeling that you are a creative person.
no, thank you.
And I don't know how you are with it. I work a lot with my full-time job, with my brain.
Mm,
And also, I like to do on the side tangible things,
mm.
creating something.
Yeah, yeah. What do you
So I
create?
see it clearly.
Do you do
So
anything with
I
your hands and things?
yeah. So I like painting, drawing, doing designs
Mhm.
as
Wow.
well. So something what I see, visualize. So I see this one in you too, that you help, your students,
Mm.
but you also like to create things, what you see, you touch, as well.
Yeah, I think in teaching you need to be creative as well. Else
Yes,
the students are going to get bored at the
yes,
end of the day. Yeah.
100. And you created this 7 pillars method,
I did.
which is fantastic. And combining, the two things, because you said coaching and teaching, um, it's like totally opposite. I would say teaching is more like mentoring,
Yeah.
and coaching is more like working with someone on their goals when they connect with themselves, really and truly.
Yeah.
So
Like
you
helping
you
them find the answers. Yeah. Help them
yes, you
find the
made
answers.
it. Yes, you
Yeah.
made it. You combined the two. So
I
there
did.
is the model. Yeah, someone said there is not, but I think so. There is hybrid model when you really step out from the coaching, what we
Wow.
learn coaching is, and you go over and beyond and really custom made your program to the person who you
Yeah.
work with.
Yeah.
So 100%.
Hey,
And as a coach, or coaches, we also talk about values goals. If you need to tell your biggest value or biggest goal, what would it be?
my goals are broken down into like small ones, and
Mhm.
they're always get through the day. get
Mhm.
make it through the day again.
The same.
No, I think, you've got to have a dream. I mean, I don't know. I would like to make a living out of making guitars, but,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to sell a lot of them.
See,
But it's
your
a
goal.
motivation, yeah.
Yes, the goal is clear. You just need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah,
It's
and
fantastic.
it's nice to have them around. I've got about 6 in here
Mm-hmm.
at the
Yeah.
moment, so I might have to
Yeah.
move out and, find somewhere bigger.
Oh. Yes, maybe you can coach yourself about it. So it's
Yeah,
just great. As
yeah,
you
yeah.
said, non-stop coaches.
Coaching
We
all
will
day, yeah.
lead differently. How would you define the benefit of the coaching experience? What you see on your clients or students?
I think that most of the time when people come to a coach, most of the time they already know the answer, but they're just
Mm-hmm.
waiting for some kind of, confirmation of their own ideas, and also because coaches normally sign a confidentiality
Yes.
agreement, they can talk to you rather than talking to maybe their line manager or their boss or to a friend that they think is going to steal their ideas or going
Mm-hmm.
to be laughed at.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the coach is, well, the main thing of the coach is to help the person stand on their own feet, so to
Yes.
help them to have those tools to get past the obstacles and then kind of move on. But as I say, sometimes a coach is kind of like a sounding board
Mm-hmm.
where they know that the person's not going to steal their ideas or laugh at them or post it on
Yes.
Facebook,
Yes.
So I think it's good in that way, self-esteem and, helping people realize that their ideas are actually worthwhile and doable.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. We learned that coaches are mirrors. So to a mirror to yourself, and this is a non-judgmental environment. And when you talk to people, you just don't judge them. You just appreciate their ideas, and there is no wrong answer. So many people who came to me, the biggest challenge is to believe that they don't need to perform with us.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
talk, they just explore, and everything is okay, whatever they say. So,
Well, I
yes,
think that you have to realize that the truth doesn't belong to anybody.
yes,
The way, like, for example, if you wake up in the morning, you're tired, you haven't slept very well, or you're stressed, and everything's going to seem like hard work, but the same kind of things to somebody who's had a great night's sleep and, physically fit, they're just going to breeze through those things. And, like I say, in the book that I'm reading, Emily Bad Therapist gives him the example of, I think it's in the book, or it might be in her TED Talk, because you can find her on TED Talks,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the example of the apples
Yes,
to somebody on a diet. They look
good day.
bigger, yeah. So your eyes do actually condition how your body prepares for a task.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you already feel tired and you give yourself the idea that I'm never going to pass this exam, so why should I bother? You've already prepared your body to fail.
Yeah, the self. That's why I chose the self as my company name, because it's everything: the body, the mind, and the soul. They need to work together towards to your goal. Wonderful. As a last thought, if you could just tell the listener where they can find you, how they can work with you.
Okay, well, you can find me on LinkedIn. Maybe I'm not sure you add the link maybe to the podcast.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
I will.
I have a website that's kind of like the book. It kind of changes when I have a sudden flash of inspiration, maybe
Mm-hmm.
change the website a little bit. It's kind of like a work in progress, but that you can contact me through the website as well. There's not a
Perfect.
lot of information on there at the moment. It's under construction. There's quite a few
Yeah. You
articles,
can,
but
you
sorry.
can put this podcast there as well, and people
Yeah.
can listen you and have a little bit of sense who you are and how they can work with you. And yes, I don't know if you have a quote, a motivational quote or saying. If you want, you can share it. But for me, is the changes within your reach. All you need is a willpower to make it happen.
Wow, that's inspirational. Mine
Yeah.
is kind of based on my logo. The logo is like a mountain and a
Yes.
hole. And the idea is, if you want to build a mountain, you got to dig a hole.
Oh, nice.
You know,
Very, very,
which kind
very.
of, it can mean a lot of things. It can mean like the hole is like the mountain's your comfort zone.
Yes.
You know, if you
Yeah.
imagine yourself standing on a flat piece of ground, what you don't know that's not your comfort zone is under your feet. If you dig kind of slowly, what that becomes known, becomes part of your mountain. But other things, like there's no, without action, it won't happen. Example,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
I very like this logo and the explanation of it, because how I see it, when you dig a hole, on one side you go down, but on the other side you build a mountain.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
know?
you've got to address
Uh,
your past sometimes as well to move forwards. Yeah, so,
yes.
as I said,
Yes.
it has quite a few meanings. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. And thank you so much for explaining it, because it's totally makes sense for me.
oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much, John, for your time and sharing with me and with the listeners
It was a
your
pleasure to meet
story.
you, Sophie.
Thank you so much. And hopefully, more and more people will realize the importance of coaching, learning new things, and just go after their dreams, their true dreams. Say, thank you so much again,
Thank you.
and I wish you a nice day.
Yeah, same to you. Bye bye.
Bye.